Greetings, lovely people. Nice to see you again. Welcome to another video with me, Peter Rising, Microsoft MVP. Wow, I haven't said that in a long time. Anyhow, to business. I recently did a video on the new Microsoft Preview feature of Microsoft 365 Backup. This generated a lot of response. I have to say I was quite surprised in what I thought was going to be quite a throwaway video. It turned out to be my most watched and fastest watched video of all time. So thank you for the response to that. Thank you for all your comments. There were quite a few questions and comments that came from that, mainly around how granular can the backup be, what are the restore options, how does it compare to this, that, or the other, pricing, so on and so forth. Why do you need it? Lots of questions came out of it. In this video, I'm going to do my best to answer those questions. It's probably not going to be as complete a solution as you might want it to be, but I'm going to do my very best, and it probably won't be the last video on this subject. So let's get into it right now. Here it is. So here is the approach I have taken to get this information. I have leveraged the power of Copilot, formerly known as Bing Chat Enterprise. This is available to you if you're a E3 customer. So I asked it a question. I said, create a comparison table of all the available backup and restore tools available for Microsoft 365, include feature comparison and cost. Spelling error there, but it worked. Include the new Microsoft 365 backup, Veeam M365 backup, which to me is the market leader. They're the most established and the most adopted. Another one that I know of, Druva, that is a good product, and other well-established M365 backup and restore vendors you can think of. Copilot, what are you going to give me? And Copilot went away and thought about it, and this is what we got. We got a mixed set of results here. So it initially came back with 3 responses. M365 Backup is the vendor, offers these features here: fast and secure restorability, immutable protection, self-service management from Microsoft or trusted partners. The cost column, no problem in telling us here that it's going to be 15 cents per gigabyte per month. Next one, we got Veeam and Druva in here. So it's only added the ones I specifically named. So with Veeam, delivers unmatched scalability, providing a multi-repository, multi-tenant architecture. So obviously we're getting much more in the way of features there. To be fair though, Microsoft is in preview at the moment, so that's got a ways to go. Pricing, this is the frustrating part. If you go to any of the websites of these vendors, they will invariably have a form for you to fill out so they can get you on their databases, basically. They want your data. They want marketing content that they can use to try and lure you in. So you're not going to get easy access to pricing, and it'll tell you for most of these third-party ones that pricing varies based on the number of users and data size, which I guess is fair enough. Druva, similar story in terms of the cost. You need to go and have a conversation, is what they're telling you. They want you on the hook for some marketing and sales conversations. But Druva offers data backup, disaster recovery, cyber resilience, and more for various applications and cloud environments. Okay, all good, but let me go down and show you what I put in next. So I said, please add more vendors to the tail, such as Datto and Symantec and AvePoint and any others that you can think of. So sure, says Copilot, here's an updated comparison table. So we've got a few more in. We've got Datto, Symantec, and AvePoint. What does Datto do for us? All 3 of these, again, have the same sort of canned response of pricing varies depending on the number of users and data, blah, 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 blah. Not massively helpful, but understandable. Provides, in the case of Datto, comprehensive detection, protection, and recovery to safeguard your client's M365 data against both known and unknown cyber threats and common data loss scenarios. Cool. Symantec offers a cloud-to-cloud backup solution that provides automated backup and recovery for M365 data, and AvePoint provides rapid backup and restore of your Microsoft 365 data, including Microsoft OneDrive, SharePoint, and Exchange. we've got this little disclaimer after that saying, please note that pricing information provided is subject to change and may not be up to date. It is recommended a check with the vendor for the latest pricing information. Fair enough. Okay, that tells me a bit, but I want more. I want a bit more information. What more can you tell me about backups? So what I did here was add a column, first and foremost. This is my first ask of this. Add a column to the table showing where each vendor stores their backups. This was a key point. In feedback to my previous video on M365 backup coming out, I got a lot of people saying, not so sure I like the fact that it's stored within your Microsoft 365 tenant. That's a common response. To be truthful, I don't entirely get that because I'm always of the opinion that in most backup scenarios, you'll be wanting to restore content in place or to a new location, which M365 backup does, probably in response to some sort of breach, and you've been attacked by ransomware and encrypted, that sort of thing. So the argument I have against this is, let's imagine that the Microsoft 365 platform goes down for any length of time. It's not available to you. You can't get onto your SharePoint. You can't get onto your OneDrive or your emails or Teams. Not that many of these do actually backup Teams, and we'll get to that in a minute. Whilst that is down, you've got your backup somewhere that you can. Well, to be fair, in the Microsoft instance, you might not be able to get at it to initiate a restore. But across all of these situations, where are you going to restore your data to? If your service is unavailable, no matter if you're using Veeam, whether you're using Druva, Symantec, AvePoint, whatever else, where are you going to restore to? And is it going to be a realistic platform for you to work on and run your business whilst you're waiting for M365 to come back up and be available again? I mean, Microsoft do have outages occasionally. We all know that. They have a 99.9% SLA, guaranteed uptime. They have things in place to prevent that as much as anyone can. But there's going to be downtime occasionally. And it's usually pretty brief. So much so that it's really not worth starting any sort of restore process in that situation. And if it were unavailable for any length of time, where would you restore to? How would you make that work? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. I think it's a very invalid argument, if I'm being brutally honest. But anyhow, where do they store their backups? Here's what I asked. Here's what I got. We added another column to the table. In the case of M365 backup, it's in Microsoft Azure. Veeam, they put everything out to Amazon S3, so it's not within their own platform. Fair enough, it's in a different place. That's going to satisfy those of you who want it somewhere else. Druva, the same, Amazon S3. Datto, stored in their own Datto cloud, so same limitations as M365. Symantec, again, within their own cloud, Symantec Cloud. And AvePoint, actually, do you say that AvePoint or AvePoint? I'm never really sure. I've never actually heard that spoken out loud. But AvePoint, Amazon S3. So that's given us a little bit more information there in terms of where the backups are going to be stored, and you can make a decision based on that, if that is important to you. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Right. I then asked it to please add some more well-known vendors to the table. So did we get any more? We did. We got a few more. Let's see what we got. So after AvePoint, we got Acronis. What does Acronis do for us? It offers a comprehensive backup and recovery solution for Microsoft 365 data, including Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and OneDrive for Business. Pricing varies, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to tell you about pricing other than Microsoft. Where's it back up to? Their own cloud. Barracuda, cloud-to-cloud backup and recovery for M365 data, including Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and OneDrive for Business. Variety of pricing again. Backs up to their own cloud. So, and much the same story here with Commvault, comprehensive backup and recovery, M365 data, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, OneDrive Business, in their own cloud, and same with Carbonite. So much of a muchness there. The hardest thing to get access to is the pricing. It's also not particularly viewer friendly in terms of being able to compare like for like features and capabilities. So I challenge Copilot again here. Okay, what do we got? I said from the table above, create a second table which shows the vendor names as column headers, then add rows from with all the available features from each product, and have a checkbox indicator in each column to show if the vendor does or does not include that feature. Include a row for granular backup and restore options, which is another thing that was leveled as a response to my last video on M365 backup that it does not yet do. I'm sure that'll come, but at the moment it doesn't do it in its current preview format. So this is what Copilot did for me. Comparison table. Let's see what we got. So we got features, and we got all of our vendors across the top here. Let's see what ticks all of the boxes and what has some big gaps. So fast and secure restorability, all of them tick that box. I've only ever really played with M365 backup. I've never seen Veeam in action, even though it's the market leader. I've seen a little bit of Druva, not for a few years though. And I've played with Semantic, again, not for a good few years though. Other than that, I've not really seen any of these myself. So I'm taking Copilot's word at this. So that's a little disclaimer there. What else have we got? Immutable protection. Tick boxes across all of these for all of our vendors there. Self-service management. Again, check boxes all across. Multi-repository architecture. This is the first one where we have some standout players in this field. If you are taking Copilot's results and research and reporting here as gospel, as accurate. So multi-repository architecture, only Veeam and Commvault will offer that at the moment. The same with multi-tenant architecture. Veeam and Commvault are the only ones that are going to offer that to you at the moment. Data backup seems like a pretty redundant column here. I don't know why that's what this does. It backs up data, and they all do that. So that's good. Let's have a look at next one. Disaster recovery. We've got some gaps there. Let's see if I can sort of easily link that. So disaster recovery, where are we at? I want to keep the columns visible at the top of the screen. So Druva is going to give you disaster recovery, Acronis, Barracuda, Commvault, and Carbonite. What exactly disaster recovery means? Well, we all know what it means in the simple sense at a high level, but in the broader sense, what's that going to give you? Might be one to focus on in another video later. I'm not going to get too granular on that one in this video. I just want to give a bit of an overview in terms of the general comparisons that we can make. Cyber resilience, again, we have got some gaps here. I'm surprised to see Veeam not checking these boxes, I must admit. Whether or not that's accurate again, I don't know. And it's for you as organizations to go out there and do your own research and make your own informed decision. That's something that every organization, every CTO or CISO or whoever is responsible for this journey in an organization is going to have to do their due diligence. I can help in my videos here to offer some high-level guidance like this, which I hope is useful. But don't take my word. Use this as a starting point to inform your own diligent assessment. What have we got here anyway? OneDrive backup, SharePoint backup, Exchange backup. Everyone does OneDrive. Everybody does SharePoint. Nearly everybody does Exchange. Who doesn't do Exchange? Which one is that? AvePoint does not back up Exchange. That's interesting. Exchange is still very, very relevant in the world today and will be for some time yet. I know people say email's going to die out in favor of more modern means of communication, but I don't see it happening for a while yet. It's still very, very important to most organizations. Teams backup. This is where the biggest gaps are that I could see. And we don't have Teams. Where does have Teams backup more accurately? So we do have it in Semantic. We got it on the last four as well, which are Acronis, Barracuda, Commvault, Carbonite. Interesting again that Veeam, that I would perceive to be the market leader, if this is believed to be trustworthy and accurate, does not have it. And then, this surprised me quite a bit, file level granular restore, literally every one of these, apart from a gap here for Datto, which has no entry there at all said coming soon. Now I'm sure that I've heard the argument in response to my previous video on this from those of you who made comments that you're not particularly excited about or trusting of M365 Backup in its current preview offering, because unlike some of the third-party offerings, it does not offer that level of granularity, and it's not competitive on the pricing either, which is interesting. But there we go. And then at the very bottom, I added in the backup storage location, which we already have seen in the other table, but handy to have. Many of these go to Amazon S3 as an alternative form, but the other ones tend to have their own internal storage locations. So if that's important for you, that will help you to make an informed decision as well. So I ran out of connectivity on this particular Copilot screen at that point. I did try and, it said, sorry, we ran into some issues. I did want to try and export the table to Excel and edit it, but when I did so, that's when it gave, export failed. It doesn't seem to like that for whatever reason. So I did it the old-fashioned way. I copied and pasted this information into a spreadsheet myself and sort of formatted a little bit. So I got that in 2 sheets here, and I had the vendor down the left-hand side here with the features, the costs, the backup storage locations. So this is something I can play with and in my own time, maybe try and get a bit more information, certainly on the pricing. And on sheet 2, I had this, it might have been easier to show you this actually, for the checkboxes in terms of what isn't included. But when you see it in this view, you can see that there is a lot more included than there isn't for many or most of the features. So they're all doing some pretty good stuff. But what about the pricing? Let's go back to my browser, and I did do another Copilot session here to try and tease out a little bit more in terms of the cost, and it got a little bit shirty with me, and it didn't want to play ball this time, so I had to sort of refine what I was asking for. A few more well-known vendors, features and cost. It just did not want to give me cost. So what did I ask it then? Based on common scenarios, please try to estimate the cost per vendor per month. And again, it came back. I found a pricing model for Backup Preview that is pay-as-you-go, consumption-based, preview list price, 0.15 gigabyte in dollars per month of protected content. The size of protected content is equal to the cumulative size of the mailboxes being protected, plus the size of the SharePoint sites and OneDrive accounts being protected. That is the size of the live OneDrive accounts and SharePoint sites as displayed in the live sites usage reports. For Veeam, M365 Backup, and Druva, I could not find any information on their pricing. It is recommended you contact the vendor for pricing information. For AvePoint, Commvault, Datto, Verita, again, could not find. I recommend contacting blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then I tried to do a little bit more here in terms of what are the benefits of Microsoft. Actually, I'll sort of preface that question with a little bit of context for you. One of the contents that I got on my previous video was also, well, what is the benefit of using the new Microsoft 365 Backup above and beyond the native restore capabilities that you currently have within OneDrive? Good question. So I looked into this a little bit. And I asked this question of Copilot. And according to Microsoft, M365 Backup provides fast, secure restorability, immutable protection, self-service management, and backup and restore of OneDrive, SharePoint, Exchange, and Teams data. So although the table, it didn't include Teams data, but when it comes to Teams data, you have to be very clear in terms of what Teams represents and what it includes, because the back end of Teams in terms of data is all on SharePoint. So when it says it can't back up Teams, it probably can back up a lot of Teams in terms of the SharePoint back-end sites that are on there. So not entirely accurate there. So ultra-fast restore within the... right, the following are some of the benefits of backup compared to the native restore file capabilities. Fast and secure. Ultra-fast backup and restore by creating backups within the protected service boundaries. Okay, I'm not sure I totally get that argument. Immutable backup against data destruction attacks. This means your data is protected from ransomware and other malicious attacks. Self-service backup and restore. Backup provides self-service backup and restore within the Microsoft Admin Center or through a trusted ISV partner. This means you can easily manage your backups and restores without having to rely on IT support. M365 security and trust coverage. M365 backup is built on the same trusted platform as Microsoft, which means that it provides the same level of security and trust coverage. I'm not entirely sure it's answered the question directly, so just to give you some context there, what my commenter was asking, why would you use the backup service over this feature here, which is restoring your OneDrive, which if I maybe go back a page, just to give you an idea how I got to that. Here's my OneDrive. If you go to settings, you have the option to restore your OneDrive. And if you click on that, if it wants to play ball with me and open the screen, there we go. If something went wrong, you can restore your OneDrive to a previous time. Select a date preset or use the slider to find a date with unusual activity in the chart. Then select the changes that you want to undo. So select a date or a custom date and time, and then you can move that slider to 1 day, 2 days, however many days, and then proceed from there. So this, I've got to admit, I've never really used this, never had the need to use it, because I've never lost an entire OneDrive. Maybe I'm just lucky, touch wood. I've never been in that position. If you did need to do that across the board, if you had a ransomware attack and you were wanting to restore multiple OneDrives or multiple SharePoint sites, I think you'd go for a backup solution, a full backup solution any day of the week over this. This to me is more of a convenient user functionality to restore their own OneDrive. I'm not aware that as an admin you have any controls that you can go and do. You might have something in the SharePoint Admin Center. Commenters who know or more than I do on this could maybe advise on that, but my answer would be that this is more of a user convenience for them to go and restore their own OneDrive content as they need to. They could also use the built-in versioning settings if they have versions, if they want to go back to an earlier version. So I think the backup the options that you have, be it Microsoft, be it Veeam, be it Datto, whoever else that we had on that list, I think that is a way more appropriate option for large-scale backup and restore than this. So that would be what I would say to that. So we got some responses there. So something that occurred to me, I asked the question there from the table above. Add a column for minimum license purchase request. Copilot didn't want to play there though. I can't find any information on a minimum license purchase requirement for the vendors mentioned in the table. However, I found general information on how to purchase Microsoft 365 licenses. I'm sure you did. You want us to buy those licenses, so I'm not surprised. But there you go. I then started getting really shirty with Copilot myself. I said, well, in another tab, you gave me an updated table with this. Well, there we go. And then I pasted in what I had, and that's when we sort of parted ways, I think. I could not find any information. So from there, I started thinking, well, let's take a quick look at some of the home pages of some of these other services. I did a little Bing search for Veeam M365 backup and pricing. And if you go into their sites here, you get the typical sort of, you get a free trial, first name, last name, business email, blah, 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 download now. So you can get that pretty easily. I may well do this at some point on another video, not for now, because I may do a follow-up series on some of these other providers if you can get free trials. That was another thing that I wanted to add into the columns of what I extracted from Copilot. It was very difficult to get Copilot to answer that, though. Sorry, I can't tell you what has free trials and what doesn't. So I've not signed up for that yet, but if I scroll down a little bit more, there was some more information here from $0 to $1.70 per month per user, depending on what your needs are. So apparently Veeam Backup for Microsoft Office 365 has 4 pricing editions. Free trial available, licenses sold per user with a minimum purchase of 10 licenses required. So that's something you have to watch out for as well. So a quick little search on Bing or Google or your preferred searching provider will get you some information on that. I did the same thing for Druva and sort of scrolled down a little bit, and I didn't get that quick and easy sort of standout result, which tells me some quick and easy pricing options there. But I went onto the Druva site, and again, you can take a tour, you can get a free trial. You're going to have to do some digging to get those price comparisons. If anyone knows of any set in stone pricing comparison charts that are out there, please put it in the chat, and we can share that amongst ourselves. But I don't have that level of detail just yet. But there you go. I hope that's added another dimension of information to this story, and gives you a bit more to go on in terms of how you would choose to have a backup, don't have a backup, which one you're going to select. I will admit, although I am Microsoft through and through, I think probably some of the more established players in the backup and restore capabilities of M365 are probably not going to be losing any sleep just at the minute at Microsoft's entry into this space. It's got a ways to go. I think it'll run and run. I think it'll get there, much as a few years ago Microsoft were not taken seriously as a security company. Now they're in that top right corner of that Gartner Magic Quadrant, and I'm sure they're in a similar place on however Forrester organized their results. But it'll run and run, and then and only then, I think these other vendors will have some thinking, some soul searching to do, whether or not they need to innovate and do something a bit more above and beyond where Microsoft are catching up to, or they start strategically cooperating with Microsoft in certain ways, build stronger ties and relationships. Maybe Microsoft in time might look to buy one of these vendors. I'm surprised they've not looked to do that so far, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes, what regulations are in place in terms of monopolies and that sort of thing. Interesting stuff. There you go, a lot to process, eh? Definitely one that's going to run and develop as the weeks and months go by. You can expect, I'm sure, to see Microsoft broaden their offering as it continues through the preview and hopefully into general availability. I always do say, don't use preview features until they are in GA. Not everyone always takes that advice, but that is at your own risk. But I tend to try and avoid it being deployed because you just never know how Microsoft are going to change these things or even withdraw them altogether. Unusual that they'll withdraw them altogether, but it's not unknown. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of this video and other videos, what you think of all the shorts that I've been doing lately. I love your feedback. It's always so great to hear from you and get your opinions and thoughts. If you're going to stick around, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're going to stick with me, please hit the subscribe button so you get regularly informed in your subscription lists about what is new and interesting on the channel. Do give me a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting that thumbs button. Both are free to do so and take a second. Thank you so much for all of your support as ever to my wonderful viewers, my subscribers, and especially my wonderful members. See you in another video very soon. Bye-bye.